Why is Chris Brown one of the most hated singer in the music industry? So picture this, it's 2009 and you're vibing to Forever by Chris Brown. Everything's cool and then bam, the dude suddenly turns into the final boss of anger issues. So it is 2009 and Chris is a teenage pop prince with none other than Rihanna. Now at that time when I was young, I loved her so much. I loved her music. They were the power couple. So one night they're cruising through LA in a car, probably singing along to the radio or whatever, when Rihanna suddenly saw Chris Brown's phone and she saw a light pop up, and apparently that message that she saw, that little message that she saw that popped up, was from one of the girls that Chris Brown used to smash with. And she gets so mad, which is understandable and justified, but then again, in that situation, girl, come on, you're in his car. I don't think you should be even angry in that situation. He needs to drop you off and then you need to be angry. Anyways, with that being said, he's mad, she's mad. Both of them are so mad, like they got into such a big heated argument that what Rihanna does, she ends up punching him, and not just that, she also starts kicking him. Instead of pulling over, what Chris does, he holds the steering wheel with his left hand and he starts beating her up with his right hand. And this man is strong. He was just going over and over again, to a point it got so bad that she was actually screaming for help. But no one was helping her out. What Rihanna does, she ends up calling one of her manager. Her manager was asleep, so she pretended, she was like, yeah, make sure you call the cops. She lied because she thought that maybe if she lied, Chris would be scared. But that raged him even more. He was still beating her up. People who were passing by and people who were in the car, when they saw what was going on, they actually called the police on behalf of Rihanna. And the cops, they show up, they arrest Chris, and the whole world was like together and was like, what? What just happened? Why? Even I was shocked. Rihanna's injuries were so bad that it goes public and everyone was shocked. Honestly, I can't show pictures of Rihanna, but pictures of Rihanna goes viral, and honestly, it's pretty bad. Like, if you want to, you can go check it out yourself. So now it is 2012 and Chris is still dealing with whatever ordeal was going on with Rihanna. His career was so bad, like people were hating on him, which I think he deserves. So then what Chris does, he takes a plea deal, does probation, and drops the saddest apology video of all time.
I would do some interviews and answer some questions in the future. I felt it was time that you heard directly from me that I am sorry. I have tried to live my life in a way which can make those around me proud of me, and until recently, I think I was doing a pretty good job.
But it was so bad, people weren't buying it. So did you think that he would change after that? Nope, absolutely not. Fast forward to 2013. Now this boy is still in probation and still hasn't learned a thing. So now Chris Brown is in DC. Two of his fans noticed Chris Brown and they were like, oh my gosh, Chris Brown, we love you, let us take a picture. He's like, yeah, let's take a picture. So two of these girls were standing right by his side, and then suddenly a random man came out of nowhere, photobombed the picture and was like, cheese. And then what happened? He was like, nah, I'm not doing that gay shit. And then he starts punching and kicking him over and over again. Like, he wasn't just beating him up. He was allegedly, he was also throwing homophobic slur just to make sure the situation is extra terrible. So now Chris is court hopping. Court keeps coming up. So someone's like, hey Chris, I think you might as well get into anger management. So he checks into rehab, and within 5 minutes, this man turned it into a whole Godzilla. So he was kicked out of the anger management, and then he gets into another anger management rehab, but this time it was with his mother. And his own mother actually wanted him in that rehab, and she was like, I want you here, like, don't leave, just stay for a few minutes. It's going to be for your own betterment. He gets so mad, he storms out, because how dare his mother say that stay in this rehab for your own betterment? How dare she say that, right? Like, how dare she? He gets so mad, he storms out and hurls a boulder through her car window like it was nothing. And his mom's crime, stay in this rehab for your own betterment. That was her crime. So then the staff, mind you, his mom was part of that community. The staff was like, yeah, we're gonna actually need you to leave with your son. So the poor mother was kicked out of that community as well because of Chris Brown. So now Chris Brown is in and out of jail, in and out of court like it's nothing. This man's hopping from one place to another, and somehow this man is still trying to have a music career. Not just that, Chris Brown was in a party and this random woman came out of nowhere, took a picture of him, and instead of like telling her off nicely, he straight up punches her. Obviously that woman didn't sit back. She actually took him to court. What Chris does, he actually ends up coming online and he was roasting this woman about her looks and, you know, her weight. So he settles the case because obviously there's no way you can win that. The lady ends up winning anyways. So now at this point it is 2015 and Chris Brown can see how much people hates him, whether that's online or in person. So what Chris Brown does, he's like, I need a PR team to actually fix my reputation. So what happens, he ends up hiring a manager, and that manager was like, we need you to do that. And what Chris Brown does, he straight up punches the manager, because how dare the manager that he hired, how dare the manager tell him what to do? So now Chris is facing with another lawsuit, but they did settle that outside of court. I understand punching and all that, but things takes a really different turn, because this man has been going around and sexually assaulting women. Not just that, he's also really good friends with Diddy. So I think that information of him being friends with Diddy should tell you how he is as a person. One of the ladies came forward and was like, Chris Brown attacked her on the yacht. Anyways, fast forward to 2023, and at this point he is 34 years old. He is still rich, still famous, and still not chill. He's in London and he goes to a club, and for some reason, suddenly for no reason, Chris Brown thought that it was okay to smash the tequila bottle on a music producer's head. The guy goes down, like, you know, with one hit the guy's just out. So what Chris does, he allegedly keeps stomping on the music producer's head. So the cops were called and they were about to arrest Chris Brown. What Chris Brown does, he ends up yeeting himself out of the country. So now it is 2025 and times have surely changed. He thought that maybe the police wouldn't get him. So what Chris does, he ends up coming to the UK for another tour. He steps off a plane and he's like, haha, I'm back. And the cops shows up to his hotel and they're like, surprise, you idiot. And they end up arresting Chris Brown in his hotel. So now Chris Brown is out on bail and he is touring again. And he could face up to 16 years of prison if he is convicted again. So yeah, now you know. Now you know why Chris Brown is one of the most hated celebrity on the internet, and I think the hate is justified. Anyways guys, this has been a cracked case and I'll see you on my next one. Bye!